Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. This episode is themed like creepy mom and son relationships. These are some of my favorite stories, I feel like. Like, this theme is kind of like just, I don't know, it's so entertaining to me, and it's so intriguing to me to see these crazy ass mommies and sons. So, anyways, let's just get right into the story time. The title of the first story is Am I the asshole for telling my fiance and his mother to get married since they're sexually attracted to each other? We've been together for 4 years, got engaged early last year. His mom lives in a different state from us, so I've only spoken to her through texts and occasional FaceTimes, and she seemed really nice. We plan to visit his parents this month and meet up with some mutual old friends that also live there. When we arrived, she hugged me, but suddenly looked really shocked. She said I was a bit taller than she expected, which was fine because I get that a lot. I tend to look shorter in pictures for whatever reason. But then she goes ahead to say that my fiance, let's call him Kevin, usually goes for smaller women, in quote, women more like her size. I was taken aback. I immediately got strange vibes from her, but tried to push it away. I just thought it was a generation thing. I know the older folks love pointing out weight and height on women. Mind you, I don't even think I'll be considered that tall. I'm 5'6", but she was clearly smaller than me by some inches. Anyways, we're unloading the snacks we brought onto the table when she asks me to help her tighten her dress. It was one of those dresses with crisscross fastens at the back. It was a little bit of a struggle to tighten the strings, and she just started shouting, "It must be the boobs. The dress hates them, but the men love them." When she didn't get a reaction, she asked Kevin, "Isn't that right? You," their last name, "men love a full rack. Remember how excited you were with Lexi?" I couldn't even believe it. I am not big chested in any way, and she just compared my boobs with his ex's. Kevin didn't even try to say anything to defend me. He just sat there. To make it even worse, she kept saying how I was the first dark haired girl she's ever seen her son with. She's blonde, and kept talking about how men always go for women that look like their mothers the whole night. I told him how uncomfortable it made me feel, and he said I was overreacting and that she's kind of right. Kind of right? What do you mean, kind of right? How am I meant to move on knowing I'm not even his type and his mom clearly has a weird thing for her son? He's been acting like he doesn't notice what his mom is saying and how it's been affecting me. I'm very shocked. I don't think I've ever really been insecure about my features, but they're both just making me second guess myself. She even showed me their picture albums to show me how cute Kevin was as a baby, but she just ended up showing me pictures of herself when she was younger and very delicate. She also showed me her labor pictures and when she was pregnant with Kevin, saying that all the nurses were shocked by how tiny she was being fully pregnant. And she said it was a shame that that might end with her giving how big me and Kevin were. I finally broke and told her and my fiance that she could be the person to marry him since she's obsessed with him. I called one of our mutual and Ubered to their place. Now, a few hours later, some of our friends and his annoying mother keep calling and texting saying I overreacted and I was very rude. Kevin even has sent a long text saying I always blow things out of proportion and she was just having some fun. She's been indirectly calling me fat, gigantic, and an ugly creature, and the two men have just been giggling. But when I return the energy, I'm all of a sudden the bad guy. This isn't like him at all. I need advice, please. Has anyone experienced similar mother in law hate or animosity? And do you think I overreacted? Dude, it's crazy to me that mothers act like this. Like, I cannot believe that because, I mean, first of all, my mom, she has a son, my brother, and she would never. That is just so creepy. And like my boyfriend's mom would never, I've never heard her say anything even along those lines. I mean, I would be so shocked. It genuinely feels like it's just something that happens in a movie or like a fake show. I can't even imagine being around this behavior. I would actually be so shook and so confused. And it's really shocking to me how the men never realize it. Like they know what's going on, but they don't think it's weird. Like I get it, that's what they're used to, but they have to know that that's weird shit to be saying around your son. And I just feel like they would feel so uncomfortable. Like, if I was that son and my mom was saying that kind of stuff to me, I would feel so uncomfortable. Or, like, we never see, I feel like, dads being this way, like acting that way towards their daughters. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I know there are creepy dads, obviously, and there's like things that happen with dads, but I feel like it's not as common for a dad to be like, well, I've actually never even heard a story where it's like a dad is like complimenting himself, saying, oh yeah, she goes after who her father looks like. You know, I've never heard that. Ew. If my dad was saying stuff like that, I would literally run away. Okay, let's read some comments. Not the asshole. He's a mama's boy and seems to be blind to her flaws. If you stay with him, you've been given a preview of what life with him is probably going to be when and if mom is around. Yeah, that's so scary. Not the asshole. Running away was the exact right thing to do. Keep running and never go back. Not the asshole. I understand the story you were told. I was too comfortable to stay. His mother even asked him for his opinion of her breasts, and it only got more uncomfortable from there. Thank you for my checking in on me, but the situation was just more than I want to be a bystander to. Literally, T, I would be like so scared. I'd be like, okay, you need help. Maybe let's go to a therapist so you can recognize how weird this little enmeshment of you and your mother is. Not the asshole. At least you're finding all this out before marrying him slash them. She literally had you help put her boobs on display for her son. If that ain't some lower Alabama shit, then nothing else is. OP said, I know finding out before the wedding is good, but I wish I found out much earlier. It feels like I'm ripping a whole part of myself out. Ugh, I'm so sorry. That's actually so terrifying and sad. Because what do you even do at that point if they're not realizing or recognizing how weird it is? Like, what do you even do? How do you go about that kind of situation? You kind of have no choice other than to leave the person, because that's just going to be your life, and if you can accept that, then okay. But I feel like most women aren't going to accept that, right? Like, it's weird. Okay, the next story is titled, Am I the asshole for breaking up with my fiance because he refused to set boundaries with his mom? So I, 28 female, was engaged to Mike, 30 male, for about 2 years, together for 4. We had a great relationship. At least I thought we did, until it became clear that his mom, Mary, had a unique attachment to her son. It started small. She would call him multiple times a day to check in, which I didn't mind at first, but then she started showing up unannounced at our place, criticizing how I kept the house, and even tried to rearrange furniture because Mike liked it better this way. I put up with it because Mike assured me that he would talk to her. Spoiler, he never did. Things escalated when Mary insisted on planning our entire wedding. She wanted her friends on the guest list, her catering preferences, and even suggested that I wear her wedding dress, which was dated, to put it kindly. When I tried to assert my opinions, she'd say things like, oh, honey, this is just how it's done in our family. Mike just shrugged it off, saying, that's how she is. The breaking point came when Mary told me I should delay having kids because no one will ever love Mike as much as I do. I confronted Mike, and he said that I was overreacting. I told him we needed serious boundaries or I couldn't do this anymore. His response? If you can't handle my mom, how are you supposed to handle being a part of my family? So I broke up with him. Mary called me selfish, and his sister said I was ripping the family apart. And even Mike's friends are saying I should have compromised. But my friends are 100% on my side. Am I the asshole for not trying harder, or was this doomed from the start? I think we've realized that this was just doomed from the start, right? We know that this is just doomed. Like, unfortunately, this type of relationship is just going to be hell on earth. Truly. It's just, oh my gosh. I can't imagine that. Like, can you believe not her saying, this is just how it's done in our family? What do you mean how it's done? My wedding? Like, what are you talking about? This is literally my wedding. How about how it's done in my family in the way that I like it? That's just insane. Personally, I would have flipped out on her. I would have done it myself and been like, girl, you are being ridiculous. This is absolutely, you are overstepping so many boundaries. And see, that's how, what I don't understand is like how these women don't just go off. I would flip if this was me and I was in that situation. I would actually flip out because I'm not a super, like, I'm really not confrontational at all. But when it comes to like my breaking point, I can be confrontational. Yeah, it gives me anxiety and my heart is pounding at like 700 miles per hour. But when it's like this and after so many things, I would immediately like break. Well, obviously not immediately, but after like the 10th thing of her being like, oh, you need to wear my wedding dress, you need this for catering, you need this. Yeah, it's nice to be like helped in wedding planning, but for her to not have a say in her wedding at all and for his mom to just be planning the wedding like as if she's getting married to him is crazy. And I would absolutely go off. I'd be like, you actually need to shut up. Maybe you won't even be able to come to my wedding if you're going to overstep your boundaries like this. And your relationship with your son is weird. The fact that you're trying to make me wear your wedding dress as if you're getting married to your son. This is my wedding. I get to have preferences in my own wedding. I just don't. Ugh. Okay. Some comments. Girl, you dodged a lifetime of being the third wheel in your own marriage. If he can't set boundaries now, imagine trying to argue with Mary over baby names or holiday plans. You're not the villain for wanting a husband and not a mama's boy. Let him and Mary live their happily ever after. You deserve better. Yeah, seriously. Ooh. You, darling, dodged a nuclear bomb. If he bothers you, tell him to go marry his mother because only she can love him as much as she does. You, on the other hand, sweetheart, deserve better. Someone who is not in an incestual relationship with his mother. As I see, you weren't in a relationship with just Mike. You are actually in a relationship with Mike and Mary. You set a healthy gap in between, and he chose his mom over building a future with you. That's not your failure. I should say it's his. You dodged a lifetime of that's just how she is excuses. And honestly, that sounds like the happiest ending possible. Stay strong. You deserve a better partner, not a package deal with a meddling mom. You're definitely not the asshole here. His mom was crossing boundaries and Mike didn't have your back. Relationships are about compromise, but not when it involves something as important as setting healthy boundaries, especially with family. You gave him clear expectations and he ignored them. You deserve someone who will prioritize your comfort and stand up for you. It sounds like you did the right thing by ending things when he wasn't willing to change. You shouldn't have to fight for respect in a relationship, especially from someone's parent. You can break up with anyone for any reason and not be the asshole. Dude is definitely letting his mom walk all over him and it cost him his relationship. But hey, 4 billion women, one mom, that's his choice. Yikes. It's true, it's true. You can. It is true. You can really like I love when people say that because you really can obviously break up with someone for any reason, whatever reason you see fit. That's like no one's forcing you to stay in a relationship and you shouldn't feel forced to stay in a relationship if you don't want to be in that relationship anymore for any reason. Like even if it's just you not really feeling it anymore, like just not being 100% in and that's if that's what you want, like that's totally fine. Okay, the title of the next story is Am I the asshole for my reaction when I learned that my fiance returned my wedding dress and replaced it with the one his mom picked for me? My fiance, male 33, and I, female 28, are getting married in December. His mom is the intrusive type, but she's nice overall, and we somewhat get along. I hate to admit that wedding planning has been an absolute nightmare. His mom wasn't willing to agree on most things, and my fiance said that since he's her only son, then I should respect and appreciate this vision she has for the wedding and how it should be. She insisted to come along for wedding dress shopping. I took her with me and my mom and friends. I was so lucky to have found what I was looking for, but she picked a dress that she liked so much and said that she always pictured her son's bride in it. Mom and friends thought this line was creepy. I thought the dress was somewhat creepy and totally not my type. I apologized and thanked her for her vision, but told her that I'd already decided on a dress that I had envisioned for myself, wearing at my wedding. She got all pissy because of it, apparently, and then must have told my fiance because he came home in the evening ranting about how I made his mom upset and turned down her help in choosing the wedding dress and excluded her from the process. I asked, what process? Duh, it's just a wedding dress. My wedding dress. So I really didn't get how she should get a say at all. He got upset and said that this attitude of mine isn't working on him or his mom. He said that I should consider the dress his mom wanted me to buy, especially knowing that both dresses weren't that much different anyway. Like she said, but I told him, yes, they were different, like so much different. Anyways, we argued about it and then we dropped it. Yesterday, I came home and found out that he had returned my wedding dress and replaced it with the one his mom wanted. I called him and he was straightforward about what he did and why he did it. I lost it and started screaming at him. He asked me to calm down and really give this dress a chance. I refused to even listen. I screamed at him without giving him a chance to speak. He got home and we had an argument. I then went to stay with one of my friends and he kept calling and calling, then texting saying that I overreacted and it's his wedding too, so it wasn't cool how I screamed at him. He insisted I give this dress a chance. He went on and on about how his mom has a vision and good intention and just wants what's best for me as her future daughter in law. Mom is livid and has been wanting to go scream at him and his mom, but my dad said that isn't worth ruining my relationship with my in laws. He suggested I wisen up and go with the flow, but is it too much for me to be able to pick my own wedding dress without being guilted about it just to keep the peace? Am I the asshole for my reaction? Edited Q&As. I'm editing in some answers to frequent questions I get. A, the dress she picked wasn't all too crazy, but it just wasn't my type. B, this issue started during wedding planning and there were other things, like way too many things we didn't agree on. But this vision has been there for quite a while. C, I am paying for the dress, obviously. D, my fiance's dad is deceased. Also, his mom suffered from multiple health conditions, has no daughters, but one only son. E, he's still persisting. That's insane. Oh, the way that I would actually kick her in the face. No, you don't get a say in my wedding unless I want you to have a say. If I want your opinion, okay, so be it. I take your opinion. Your vision is your vision. You go have a wedding. Go have a wedding because this is my wedding. I get to have my vision. And even if all of these things weren't true, like if the mom offered to pay for her dress and if the dress that the mom recommended wasn't that crazy, even if those all were true, I don't care. That doesn't mean that she gets to pick out what dress this girl wears for her one and only wedding, hopefully. What? Like one of the biggest, most important days of her life that she only gets once, and you're gonna, what? Literally, what? I don't care if you're even, like, I don't care if you're paying for my dress. You don't get a say. And if you don't want to pay for my dress unless I buy the dress that you get, then bye. See ya. You're not going to pay for my dress then because, like, what is that saying? A favor with an expectation is a debt. I'm not about to be in debt to you, girl, because I'm not trying to. If you're offering to pay for someone's dress, which I know that's not even the case here, so I'm literally just making up a scenario, but if you are offering to pay for someone's dress, you don't get a say in, like, I know that people are obviously insinuating that if she was paying for the dress, then maybe she should get a say. But I don't think that's true at all because she clearly had to clear that up at the end with this edited to add part. That's not true. That is not true. You should not get a say. That's a favor. Favor with an expectation is a debt. That is not, like, no. My wedding is not about you. My wedding is not about your vision and what you want and what you envisioned your son's bride to be wearing on the wedding day. Like, what? Okay, what about what I envisioned for me to be wearing when I got married? Which is more important? Clearly, the mom's vision is more important to the son. And the fact that her dad is siding with the mom and saying that she should go with the flow. Oh no, because that's going to be the rest of her life is going with the flow and going with the flow of what this mom wants. No, I'd be like, I'm delaying this wedding until you guys figure your shit out and realize how crazy this dynamic is. You need to go to therapy, the son, to realize, like, all these men need therapy. All these men need therapy to realize how crazy a relationship with your mother is to be like this. Like, if you are choosing your mom over your wife to be, and not even just that, like, it's not like you're choosing, I mean, you know what I mean? It's not like you're choosing your mom, like, over your wife did something crazy to your mom and you're choosing your mom over that. That's a different scenario. This is you're actually choosing, like, your just opinions and just little things here and there of what your mom wants over what your wife wants. I mean, not little things. Like, a wedding is a huge thing, but it's clear to everyone but you that this mom is in the wrong and that it's creepy as hell to be doing this. And no. Okay. Some comments. Hand him the ring back. Say, I hope you get the wedding you and your mom have always hoped for. Walk away. Not the asshole. Hand him that ring back, girl. Seriously. And I hate that's always the solution. But like in these scenarios, I would give it a chance and be like, hey, this and this and this is what's happening. This is crazy. You need, I suggest that you get some help so that you can maybe come to the realization about how weird this is. And if not, then like I'm going to postpone the wedding. And if you can't figure it out and you can't get the help, then it's over because this is crazy. You need to recognize that this is not normal behavior from a mother. And I'm not going to be dealing with this for the rest of my life. You choosing your mother over me, the wife, and also possibly the future mother of your children if they're planning on having kids. Not the asshole. It's good that it's happening now. This is not the dynamic that is going to change with either your fiance or his mother. Run. Opie said, it's the current conflict we have. So far, it's the biggest one. I feel wary and unable to argue anymore. Girl, I don't think there's anything you could be arguing. Like, there's no update either. This is the only post that she's ever posted. But some of her comments are like, this all started escalating with the wedding planning. My head hurts so bad. I feel like I've been spinning for weeks. Ugh, glad I'm not the only one who noticed. I wasn't sure because I grew up with a not so ideal parent, aka my dad. I wonder if part of this has to do with my fiance's dad passing away years ago. Yeah, I'm sure she's like very much more attached to her son, especially now. I mean, I don't know how she was before the dad passed away, but I'm sure it's like made her feel more attached to the son in a way. But I mean, it doesn't really matter what happened. Like, yeah, that's really sad, but that doesn't give you an excuse to be acting like a crazy mother and being insane because that is just insane behavior. All right, that's the end of the storytime segment. We are going to hop right into the advice segment. And if you ever want unprofessional advice from me, the link is below. It's a Google form. You can fill it out, give me as much detail as possible. And there's no information collected, it's completely anonymous. So, this advice question says, hey girl, my husband and I recently eloped and haven't told anyone. Our families know we got engaged, but 3 days later, we signed our marriage license and moved in together. Now's the part where we tell our families. We want to tell our parents and then announce to everyone else later when we have everything planned out for a celebration/elopement party to announce with our news. But for now, it's just telling our parents. We're 26 and 25, so not runaway teens, but we both come from super conservative Baptist families. I wanted to ask how you think we should go about telling them that we eloped. So far, all we have planned is to take my parents out to eat in a week and FaceTime his parents since they're out of state. I'm wondering if you're like worried and that is like a part of this and you have like anxiety around the situation because I think that just being confident and confidently telling them what's going on is probably the best way that you can go about it. Making it like, this is our decision and confidently saying it like that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, so obviously you're going to be telling them in a very like nice and polite and kind way and not being like, don't even get mad, don't even say anything about it because this is our decision, but just like being like, hey, so this is what happened, we're so happy, we're so excited, and I really hope that you can be happy with us as well and celebrate us and be happy because this is really what we wanted, and we're so glad that we did this. And I feel like that you don't need to have like a big explanation and a big like you trying to convince them and trying to make them understand what you did because this is your life. You're an adult. You can decide what you do and how you do it, and you can decide when you get to tell people. That's up to you guys. You didn't have, you didn't need to tell them beforehand. And if they're mad about that, then that's their problem, but hopefully they're going to be accepting of it, and I think that it will be all okay, especially if you're just confident with the way that you say it and be like, and yeah, I think that's the best thing you can do is just be confident and let them know that this was the best thing for you guys. And the best thing for you guys should be the best thing for them as well. So I'm not really sure if you wanted like other type of advice. I'm not 100% sure, but that is my advice. If you need more, you can submit another one and I will let you know. But I think that's kind of how I interpreted it, is just like the simple way of telling them. But yeah, so don't even worry about it. Okay, we're gonna do another one. This one is also kind of short as well. This one says, "Hi Jamie, first of all, love your videos. You're so funny, amazing, and beautiful. Oh my god, that's so cute. I love you. Anyways, let me set the story before I ask for advice. So basically, next door, there's this boy who I think is cute and I know is my age. I'm female 16. I've kind of had an on and off crush on him that I remember every once in a while when I actually do see him, which is rare, but as you can assume, that kind of crush is hard to sustain when you hardly know or see the person. Anyways, I've been seeing him outside a bit more frequently this week as I've been getting off of school earlier. I go to school about 15 minutes away from where we live, and he goes to the one down the street from our neighborhood. Anyways, I can't help but think how cool it would be like to know him and stuff. Bottom line, I have a crush on him. I know this asking seems a bit juvenile, but I genuinely want another perspective and some advice. What should I do? How do I start something? Should I even do something? I'm scared to make the first move. What would I even do? How do I get his attention? I don't even know his name, lol. I wish I at least knew his socials. Appreciate your advice. Well, if you see him outside, maybe you should just like walk by and be like, "Hi, I'm your neighbor. Like, I've seen you outside. I would love to hang out sometime. What's your name?" Just introduce yourself. I know that that's really nerve wracking, but usually if you go about it in like a confident way, it's going to end up fine. And the worst he can say is no. And if he does say no or he's an asshole about it, then there's your answer. And it's really as easy as that. But if you never ask, you never know. And it's not like you have to be like, "Hey, I think you're really cute and I want to date you, but I don't even know you." You could just be like, just start it off as friends. Be like, "Hey," because you don't even know if you really like him. You have a crush on him because you've seen him, but you don't really truly know him like that, as you said. So, like, yeah, you know that he's attractive and you find him attractive, but you don't really even know him like that. So you should get to know him first. And by doing that, you need to go and try to make friends with him and just be like, "Hey, I would love to hang out sometime. I always see you outside. Like, can I can we exchange information?" And hopefully he says yes. And if he does, that's great. And if he doesn't, that's your answer. He sucks. I mean, if it depends on the way he goes about it. Obviously, if he's nice and he's like, "Oh, no, thank you." I don't know. I highly doubt that's gonna happen. But I feel like people, when you're 16, like you're so much more open to friendships and so much more open to other people and getting to know other people. So I feel like it really probably won't be that crazy in his eyes. And also the confidence in like just asking and going up to him and just being like, "Hey, I would love to hang out sometime. I always see you out and we live close to each other, so why not?" That might even be like show him like, "Oh, she's really confident about this. So like, why not? Maybe we should just hang out." And yeah, I think that would be a good start and just like exchange information and then, you can figure out when you want to hang out. And also, I don't know if you're like close with your parents, but if your parents maybe know his parents or something, then you can ask your parents about him and be like, "Hey, do you know this guy's parents? Like, you guys are neighbors, so maybe that could be a thing." I don't know. I hope that helped. If it didn't, just let me know. I'll try to help as much as I can. And also, if you have an update, let me know. I would love to hear what happens and how you go about that. But anyways, guys, I posted my first Patreon video last week. The Patreon is in the link below if you guys ever want to join. There's two different tiers, a $5 tier and a $10 tier. And the $10 tier is 4 videos a month, and then like random chit chat with me videos that I'm just going to upload whenever I feel like it. And then the $5 tier is 2 videos extra a month. So, yeah. Um, but I actually am about to film another episode after this, and then I'm gonna go eat breakfast and stuff because it's in the morning time. I just got done like working out, and then I got ready and showered really quick because my friend is coming over to watch the inauguration. I'm scared. I really hope everything is okay. Like, obviously, I'm very happy that, TikTok is back and everything, and I'm very thankful for that. And obviously, like, yeah, it had to do with Trump coming out with this statement saying that he was going to sign the whatever, the 90-day extension, so that like the service providers knew that they weren't going to get banned, or not banned, that they weren't going to get fined $5,000 per head per user, which would be like billions of dollars. um I don't, obviously, like, people are a little bit confused about that, and people are like, Trump wasn't president, he doesn't have the ability to make those types of decisions, which, yes, is true, but he did put out this statement which made service providers know that they weren't going to be fined, which is like the biggest thing that needed to happen, because the service providers weren't going to provide TikTok when they thought that they were going to be fined. Like the tech companies and stuff, they thought that they were going to be fined like billions of dollars. So obviously they're not going to offer TikTok if that's the case, and they are like, they have to follow the laws. So, yeah. Um, but I hope everything's gonna be okay. I'm positive vibes. Like in the beginning, when Trump first got elected, I was very negative vibes, very like scared, very no. And I know that like the thing is that it's probably not gonna affect me that much. And that being said, it's going to affect so many other people, and I care about other people. So that is really my biggest concern. Like, I know that it's not going to affect me, probably in a big way, but I know that like in so many other ways he's going to be changing a lot of things, and that makes me scared for, like, I've already heard that there's going to be a mass deportation tomorrow, and I don't know, I heard it from a pretty reliable source on TikTok. It's like this news guy, so I'm pretty sure that's the like true. I think it's like one of his executive order plans that he gives after he gets inaugurated. But yeah. So that's like, that makes me really sad. That kind of stuff makes me really sad. Stuff that doesn't affect me but affects other people, that also, like, I don't know, I just, I feel for those people, and that makes me so sad because I can't imagine being in that situation. Like the other day when I was worried about TikTok, yeah, obviously, like, that's my income, and I'm not saying that like just because someone else's problem is bigger doesn't mean that yours isn't like a problem and it isn't something to be worried about or sad about. But then I was thinking about how like people are possibly losing their family members to a mass deportation on Tuesday, and then I was like, wow, that really puts things into perspective for me. Like, I'll figure it out, and I can figure something out. I could get a new job. I can do this. I can there's so many other options for me. But like when it comes to something like that, it's not just as simple as going to get another job. So that kind of put things into perspective for me. Not to say that I wasn't worried about it, because trust me, like, obviously if it's something that affects me, I'm going to be very anxious and upset about it. So yeah, that was very like scary for me. But then just thinking about how like there's going to be so many things that are going to come into the oh, not Siri talking to me. Girl, get away from me. That are going to come into play, that are just going to be affecting a lot of people in the world and in the United States. And yeah. So, anyways, I love you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you thought about any of the stories that we talked about, the advice questions. If you guys have advice for the people that I read the advice questions, please comment. It's always helpful to hear other people's perspectives. And also let me know how you're feeling about the inauguration and everything. I love you guys. Okay.